generation member of my family who has had the privilege of living and working on our grazing property on the Red Gum Plains of East Gippsland, beside the Gippsland Lakes. And I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners and first custodians of that land, the Gunai people of Gippsland. I love living there. I reckon it's one of the best places in Victoria to live. Peaceful and picturesque, lovely climate, abundant natural resources and beauty, and a wonderful community spirit. But all this is at risk if the unconventional gas industry has its way. Lake Soil and Ignite Energy have exploration licences over vast areas of East Gippsland, from the foothills of the Great Dividing Range to the very edge of the iconic Gippsland Lakes, including the vital catchment areas for these already threatened waterways. In fact, Lake Soil had already commenced exploration drilling at Sea Spray before the moratorium was introduced in 2012. Now, I have a few questions I would like to ask you, and when you give your answers, I want you to leave Premier Andrews and his government in no doubt as to why we are all gathered here this morning on the steps of Parliament House. So here we go. Would anyone here like to live in the middle of an industrial gas field operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? No! Would anyone here like to see their property crisscrossed by a network of roads, pipelines and gas wells, creating a nightmare for livestock, vehicle, machinery and people movement? Does anyone here want the worry and stress of working right and living right beside settling ponds, storing the poisonous wastewater created by this industry? Does anyone here want our most precious natural asset, abundant, clean underground water, threatened with toxic contamination? These are some of the reasons why the community in which I live and around 70 others across Victoria have, after extensive local surveying, declared themselves gas field free and rejected this industry and the unacceptable risks it brings with it. Risks to our very way of life in the regional and rural areas of Victoria. And these are the reasons why these same communities have said yes to a future that doesn't include the unconventional gas industry. A future that is based on care and respect for our land and waterways. A future that puts the long-term health and well-being of our environment ahead of short-term profits for mining companies and their shareholders. A future free of the stress and uncertainty of the past 5 years as the battle to keep our communities gas field free has been waged. A future not based on an invasive and destructive unconventional gas industry imposed on our communities completely against our wishes. So, Mr. Andrews, Premier of Victoria, it's time. Time to come to the realisation that in Victoria, the unconventional gas industry has no social licence and never will. It's time to show us whose side you're on. Will you stand side by side with communities from regional and rural Victoria, or will you choose to align yourself and your government with the big energy companies from the top end of town, whose only interest and motivation is profit? A profit they intend to make at the expense of all Victorians. Nothing, I repeat, nothing less than a total ban on all onshore unconventional gas mining will do. The ball, to borrow a tennis parlance, the ball is now squarely in your court. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerard.